Ketamine. Ket. Special K. Kezel. The media today is full of stories about cocaine, ecstasy, crack and heroin. But the extent of ketamine use is rarely exposed. When I was growing up, the images of the swollen brain of Leah Betts highlighted the dangers of ecstasy. Daniela Westbrook's disintegrated septum warned us off cocaine. But there has not been any horror stories about ketamine that I'm aware of. What will it take for the truth about the dangers of ket to be publicised? Will it take a gruesome and broadcasted death? Or will it take a supermodel to become addicted to it? This film will show a darker, untold story to ket and the holes of addiction that its takers can fall into, and explores why in some areas this substance has superseded others as the current party drug of choice.
Hello?
I want to buy some pills.
Who does pills anymore? I can get you ket though.
Gijsbert Stutt is a cognitive neuroscientist. Before he came to work at the Institute of Psychological Science at the University of Leeds, he worked at leading research institutions overseas, monitoring the behaviour of monkeys on ketamine.
Ketamine is a drug. It is an anesthetic drug. It's a real drug that is being used in hospitals and actually in veterinary clinics as an anesthetic. And basically it blocks certain neurotransmitter pathways. Now, neurotransmitter is a very difficult word. It basically is a communicative agent, a chemical in the brain that helps nerve cells to talk to each other, so to speak. For example, if you're eating an ice cream and you're walking on the street and it's a quiet street, then your brain might say, well, you know, this ice cream is very important because it gives me a lot of sugar and nutrients. But then when you get close to a very busy street, your brain might switch and might say, well, ignore the ice cream and look at the dangerous cars that are coming. So if you would have taken ketamine, for example, and you're at this busy road and you have the ice cream and you see the cars, you might still be looking at the ice cream and ignore the cars. Many ketamine users are often finding themselves in very dangerous situations such as sexual assault, and people cannot defend themselves anymore because they cannot think clearly. The long-term impairments are more in terms of having delusions. If you give healthy people or healthy animals such as monkeys, if you give them ketamine, their brain starts to work like a schizophrenic patient, basically, but only for a very short time. So, you know, you see things that are not there, and you believe crazy things like you might be followed by spies. And this sort of delusion is typical for schizophrenia patients. So it is quite scary to see this also in ketamine users, and it suggests that there is some sort of like a link between schizophrenia and ketamine use. More research is necessary because ketamine seems to become such a popular drug in the wider population.
After speaking to Gijsbert, I wanted to understand why people use ketamine. What is it about the drug that attracts users? There's certainly lots of support for ketamine use in unofficial mediums. If ecstasy was the party drug of the 1990s, ketamine is not just the party drug, but also the after-party drug for the noughties.
I think I'm going under. Too much ket.
Hey, a line of coke will bring you out of it.
Like other drugs, ketamine is connected with certain music genres. I spoke to Ketaloco, Leeds-based DJs of minimal techno and tech house, in order to draw the links between ketamine and music.
Ketaloco basically come about because we just spent a season in Ibiza. The name Ketaloco was a bit of a joke, obviously Circle Loco, Loco, and it was the kind of the drug that we just found at the time, so we were quite intrigued by it. We did the first party, we got like a couple of hundred people, everyone was kind of raving about it. We did another one, kind of by popular demand, if anything.
It's become more than just the name Ketaloco. Ketaloco is that sort of joke with our group of mates, and we're successful because we have a good party. They're loving the music, and it doesn't matter who's playing.
that's what people like. That's the whole vibe that we give across when we do our nights. The atmosphere is good. It's all about the people that are coming. We're all about the music. Everything's about the music. It was the whole underground aspect, the secrecy of it all. The fact that it's not commercialised, the fact that not everyone knows what it is, and those few who do know about it, they've got that real passion, desire for it, like the old the acid house days, you know, when people used to spread the word and meet up kind of side of the motorway or up in the countryside just for the mad illegal raves. And it's kind of a little bit similar to what we did, what kind of the scene we kind of started in Leeds. I think music enhances the effect when you're on it, like most drugs do. Your kind of music is the core of the catalyst for the effect. You've got certain DJs that try and represent what's going on when you're in a KO, with all the ups and downs and the proper emotional ties that you do get, and like again the kind of pitch changes and the dramatic build-ups that go on kind of in your head when the music's on to Ketamina, and all the bleeps and glitches you get when you're on a KO. It's very electronic is the way of describing a KO, and I think that's what they try and represent in the music.
Ketaloco may have explained some of the reasons behind taking Ket and why it goes so well with certain club scenes. But I wanted to speak to someone who had incorporated the drug into everyday life and dig a little further into the world of ketamine. This led me to Gibo, an ex-user who had uploaded footage on the internet of his friend experiencing a K-hole.
I first tried it at a festival, but it's when I actually moved down to Brighton, that's when I got into it. It was just around me all the time, it was cheap, easy to get a hold of, everyone was selling it, so I just kind of picked up from there really, built quite a high tolerance to it. So I've seen loads of situations when I've been at festivals and they're all K-holed and they're on the floor or just looking around completely all confused, don't have a clue what's going on basically, and it's just like, well mate, anyone can just easily just mug you, take your phone, take your wallet, see you later. They'll come out the K-hole, checking the pockets like, where's my phone, where's my wallet? So you see a lot of situations where you think, mate, you're just totally gone, mate. Do you know what I mean? If anyone was to come up to them, just wouldn't be able to defend themselves whatsoever, just be in such a confused state, they'll probably just give them their phone. Again, it's difficult to explain a K-hole because there's so many different effects of ketamine. I mean, you've got the really heavy tripping. You can't walk properly, it feels like you're walking in some mud, and like it's just really, really confusing. Your vision goes all over the place. You close your eyes, you open your eyes, and all of a sudden you've got a different perspective of the room, and like it's just very immobilising basically. And you see them in a really horrible, nasty state, just on the floor, just like all taut and tense, not replying to anything, just moaning and groaning, and like when I see stuff like that, you just think, oh, like, I hope I don't ever look like that when I'm on it. I wouldn't have said I had an addiction to it though, but I don't know about that. I've seen a few people that have had a couple of mates that have been sectioned. It's one of those drugs that's so easy to get reality mixed up with what you're actually tripping with. It's a very fine line. So, I mean, I've been in situations where I think I'm never ever going to come out of this trip. It's quite scary. You think, shit, I'm actually going to be like this for the rest of my life, and start panicking, but then it sort of gradually wears off. But with a few mates, they've obviously got stuck in that sort of that mentality, and they've ended up just going a bit crazy, and it has changed my view a bit because I've seen a lot of people go wrong into it. Do you know what I mean? It's not something that's really appealing to me. I've sort of been there and I've done that. I don't really want to go back into it.
It's clear that ketamine can be harmful to people's health. Matt Whitten, at the Multiple Choice charity in Leeds, assured me that there is help out there. However, the identification of a drug problem is not always simple.
The stuff that we offer, it really kind of depends on where the people are coming from and what their history is and what they prefer in terms of the treatment. The vast majority are kind of statutory, and to be honest, kind of non-statutory services are really geared towards heroin and crack cocaine use. But I think as a kind of side effect of that, it means that people that are using other sorts of drugs that have developed a problem feel somewhat disenfranchised, I think, from kind of services that are set up already. I've actually have worked, and I'm working at the moment with a couple of people that ketamina's a big feature of the drug use. But it's not a very common kind of drug of abuse of the people that approach our service for help. It's not necessarily a kind of long-term life problem that people are going to have, but a lot of people can develop addiction problems to a huge variety of different drugs. Ketamine's a very, very effective drug for people that want to chase that ketamine feeling. It's only after a period of time when the costs outweigh the benefits of using the drug, and for some people, by that time, they're kind of in that kind of cycle of addiction and feel powerless about stopping. So people lose their freedom, really. And a lot of the work that we do is really about getting that freedom, that sense of freedom, sense of choice kind of back into people's lives. I think there's a lot of strides to be made in kind of actually outreaching from projects like ours into kind of services where people would feel less intimidated by approaching a worker.
This short film has been an introduction into the wider world of ketamine. I did not get to cover issues such as the profitability of the ketamine industry, the rise of its use in Eastern Europe, and its social consequences. What I have found out is that ketamine can be addictive. Perhaps its availability should be better regulated. In addition, greater accessibility of drug services and drug-specific information should be provided. This way, potential users will have more knowledge and understanding of the dangers surrounding the drug, so that we need never see ketamine horror stories in the press at all.
Lost in the K-hole, back in the zone again. Lost in the K-hole.